everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Sensei Pink, and I'm coming back to you guys for my review on The Kiss Bet, episode 56. Now, make sure you all go follow me on both Instagram and Twitter and hit that subscribe and notification button to see more weekly videos. Picking up from last week, Sara is cleaning her room in anticipation of Oliver's arrival when her dad brings him in and leaves the two alone. Before leaving, Mr. Lin lets them know that if he hears any suspicious activity, he's just going to walk in, no knocking, no nothing, and catch them in the act. Now, super embarrassed and telling Oliver to forget what he just heard, which he agrees to, the two begin chit-chatting about their unexpected meeting. As the two are talking, Oliver then looks over one of the many papers that Sara has on her wall and realizes that it is poetry and tells her like they could be used as song lyrics or such. Now, drawing his attention away from the papers on her wall, she sits Oliver down and Oliver continues on by talking about the poetry on her walls, but this, makes Sara just like take her little hand, move his face, and like they both have like a little face-to-face moment as she like hits him on the top of the head. Now, looking down after getting hit on the head, Oliver tells her like, he just didn't know that she was into poetry and that he's not making fun of her. In response to this, Sara tells him that she didn't know either until she discovered one of her mom's old boxes of journals, prompting Oliver to ask if she was a professional writer. To answer his question, Sara tells him that she was a professional writer, but she unfortunately died when she was 3 from cancer, so she never really knew her, and this surprisingly opens the door for Oliver to share a little bit of history on himself. And he tells Sara that his father passed when he was 8 years old, and his father is the reason why he's so into music and basically why he wants to be part of a band. Now, sort of after bonding over their losses, Sara tells him their parents could have really been friends since Sara's mom was attracted to her father because he was into music, and vice versa, her dad was attracted to her because her mom was into poetry. And after a moment of them just sitting there looking at each other, Oliver just turns away blushing and tells her basically let's get on with the tutoring. Now, as the two of them are going over a math problem, Oliver's phone begins to buzz while it's out on the table, and Oliver notices it, but he just sort of tries to ignore it. But as Sara is talking to him, she notices the text message that Oliver received, which is from Joe, asking if he got a chance to ask Sara about him. We then end off this episode with Oliver looking extremely embarrassed and Sara just gasping. Now, Joe, why must you ruin everything? These two were bonding amazingly before you had to get involved. Now, aside from Joe literally about to catch these hands, Sara and Oliver truly are a match. I really love this episode and how Oliver was able to appreciate Sara's skill for poetry, and how these two got to bond over a loss that they've had in their lives. Additionally, I feel like there was some heavy foreshadowing when Sara said to Oliver their parents would have gotten along because Sara's mom liked writing poetry and whatnot, and then those two were just sitting there looking at each other. So Olivera for life, baby. Olivera for life. I feel maybe next episode, since Joe had to send that text, Sara might just kick Oliver out, because in the beginning sort of this episode, when she's just you invited yourself over, and he's just yeah, I didn't expect to come and whatnot, she's gonna deduce that Joe sort of sent him over, or the two of them will just sort of brush it to the side and continue bonding, or Sara's just gonna just straight up tell him no, she can't deal with Joe because she's confused and she has enough going on in her life. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know, what do you guys think Sara is going to do next week in the comments below. Go follow me on both Instagram and Twitter and smash that like button if you enjoyed watching. And finally, guys, hit that subscribe and notification button to see more of me, Sensei Pink.